The year was 2005, and PC gaming was never going to be the same. People like to say that games like Doom, Wolfenstein, or Half-Life were the most important games in the history of personal computers. But in reality, that credit actually goes to Club Penguin, one of the greatest social platforms in the history of mankind. A place where philosophers and scholars discuss the meaning of life and law. Club Penguin will go down in history as a centerpiece in the golden age of information. Hello people, I'm Tommy, and Club Penguin is one of my earliest and most beloved gaming memories. It was a perfect game for a kid like me, and the developers must have knew that because the PC wasn't the only home for the series, as Club Penguin would appear on both handheld and home consoles. So let's take a trip down memory lane and see just how good those games really are. Club Penguin had 3 games on consoles, and we'll be looking at this trilogy and seeing if they can fill that Club Penguin-shaped hole in my Club Penguin-shaped heart. The first game is Club Penguin Elite Penguin Force on the Nintendo DS, and no game in my life will be clouded by nostalgia more than this. I have played this game tens, if not hundreds of times when I was little, and if you were a kid in 2009, the Nintendo DS and Club Penguin simply could not be beaten, and this game was perfect for a 6-year-old such as myself. The game is based on the mission mode that can be played on the actual Club Penguin, which is in fact the best part of that game. And in this game, you get to explore the lively Club Penguin Island, compete in minigames, help other penguins, listen to the incredible music in the game, and of course tackle the main story of the game, which centers around you, the new recruit of the Elite Penguin Force. In the beginning, you perform missions such as helping locate famous Club Penguin icon Rookie, learn how to harness the absolute power that is the elite puffles that are crucial assets to getting through the puzzles, uncover the disappearance of EPF scientist Gary the Gadget Guy, all while being pursued by these shadowy figures that try to stop you. These mysterious figures are also responsible for stealing objects all across Club Penguin Island, such as minecarts, the ticket booth from the stage, and the boiler. The greatest minds in all of Club Penguin assemble: Jetpack Guy, Dot, Rookie, and you find blueprints that begin to put the pieces of this mystery together. Gary explains that he had made 3 robots intended to help the island, but the robots went haywire and Gary was unable to turn them off. So with the Robo-Locator, we hunt down and deactivate the 3 robots and restore Club Penguin to harmony. You continue to help penguins across the island, like finding a guy's wrench, helping the pizza guy deliver pizzas, and this stupid alien conspiracy mission that I hated a lot as a kid because I was too lazy to write down the codes in the snow. You then go to the stage where the EPF congratulate you on your efforts, and the credits roll. Until a giant crash happens. Okay, you have to understand, I had never had a credits fake out before this moment. I was a 6-year-old who thought when those credits rolled, anything had to be over. But we would get sent into the final mission. An agent's work is never done. It's time to save the day once again. Hell yes! That text right there is how you hype a 6-year-old up. And it is, without a doubt, the best mission in the game. Gary and the Puffles go missing and the EPF laboratory was breached. We must trek back to where we found Gary in the first place, and that's when everything we've been doing up until this point becomes clear. We find out what the robots were really doing, because all those objects were being used to create a 4th robot. And with the Puffles and Gary captured, we have reached the final boss, the giant, very funny 3D modeled robot. The reason why I love this mission so much is because it encompasses almost every mechanic you've been using throughout the game. You use the tools in the spy phone which frees a Puffle, and then you have to use the power of each freed Puffle to slowly weaken the robot. You chase it up a mountain where you free Gary and destroy it once and for all, truly saving Club Penguin. There is no story in gaming that can make the toddlers playing it feel like an absolute badass quite like this. But that's the thing about this game, if you're like over the age of 10, this game is probably not for you. And even more so, I believe that I was the perfect demographic for this game. I loved Club Penguin, and this game delivered on that in flying colors, letting you explore the iconic islands, play mini-games, and customize your penguin. This game was a childhood favorite, and I thought it could never get better than this. And then they made a sequel, Club Penguin Herberts' Revenge. Now, if you were listening closely to my discussion on the previous game story, you would notice that I never mentioned who this Herbert guy was. And that was because he was never in the first game. But all you need to know about Herbert is that he's the main antagonist of Club Penguin lore, and he is responsible for Operation Blackout, which was the greatest event in the history of Club Penguin. I cannot properly explain the amazement of Operation Blackout because you truly had to be there. So anyway, the interesting thing about Herbert's Revenge is it's not a sequel to Elite Penguin Force, it's more connected to the mission mode like discussed before. So although the people who played the first game most likely already played Club Penguin on PC, you didn't have to experience Elite Penguin Force. This game, on the other hand, is more in line with the main Club Penguin, which sounds great on paper, but to me, greatly weakens this game. So right off the bat, this game only has 10 missions compared to EPF's 13. Now to compensate for that, the missions are longer, but we reach one of the worst things about this game. After you play Mission 1, you then go into a simulation that replays missions from the PC version of Club Penguin as a way to tell you about all the bad things Herbert did. This would be fine if they did this for one mission and then got us right back to the main story, but no. We are in this simulation for 6 missions in a row. 60% of the story is something you could have experienced online and in better quality. And I said one mission could have done this because the third mission in the game, Questions for a Crab, literally explains everything. We see Herbert and his sidekick Klutzy, and he explains why he's on Club Penguin Island, why he hates the penguins, and we even foil one of his schemes all in a single mission. The other 5 missions are just a fighting Herbert montage when the player already gets why Herbert is a threat. The only missions to be original to Herbert's Revenge is the first mission, which is just used to explain game mechanics, and the final 3 missions, which all go together with Herbert's final plan to melt Club Penguin Island. I didn't play this game as much as Elite Penguin Force, but I do remember liking it back then, but replaying this game immediately after playing the first one, I was really shocked at how underwhelmed I was. Even the last mission of the game was nowhere near as intense and thrilling, as it's split into 3 different objectives, all culminating into dropping a statue into a hole. And yay, the island is saved, no fake out ending here. Also, another awful thing about this game is that there is no side missions. You don't have any free moments to waddle around and explore the island, which goes against the tagline of what Club Penguin even is. Waddle around and meet new friends! The biggest pro I can give this game is the minigames, which are better than EPF's, but even then they get very repetitive as the game goes on. And that's Herbert's Revenge, a shocking disappointment. I really went into this thinking I was gonna like it just as much or even more than EPF, and not even nostalgia could save this one. That game might have been a disappointment, but you truly don't know how bad things truly are about to get. Club Penguin Game Day is the only game of the 3 that was released on a home console, the Wii, and it is certainly something. So the premise of this game is that the ethnic groups of Club Penguin Island have devolved into a 4-way civil war, and it's up to you, the chosen one, to choose who to fight with. Do you defend the red team, fight with the blue team, refuse to choose between the two and go with the green team, or join the battle in the yellow team? So this is a party game where you and up to 3 other players compete in minigames, and you've got a large selection of games to choose from, all of which suck, except for the dancing game. That one is very funny because of the camera. And as you conquer more territory, you eventually take over all of Club Penguin Island, where all the penguins dance for you in a cult-like ritual, and you ascend to divinity. You're then told to play the game 3 more times as the other teams, and that is most certainly not happening. Once again, I did play this game in my youth, but even back then, I knew that this game sucked major ass. And that's the story of Club Penguin on console, a trilogy that started promising but got worse as they went on. It was an absolute pleasure going back to Elite Penguin Force, and I will always cherish that game. Herbert's Revenge, I wish could say was good, but I was just left disappointed. And Club Penguin Game Day at least had a name for its main setting, so its world building is still better than Fire Emblem Fates. What a roller coaster, from glad to sad to mad. But don't let this tarnish the importance of Club Penguin on our society, because think about it. How screwed would the British have been if my man George had the power of the elite Puffles?